Why I think all telepaths should die. Charles Xavier by Schmo. I like this guy's videos. Let's check it out.
I want to start out this video by making a formal apology to all telepaths out there. My comments were bigoted and mutant and metaphobic. I absolutely would not have a problem with a telepath dating my child. What am I saying? Get out of my head.
Yeah, back to the anti-mutant propaganda. You're right. Hell yeah.
Huh? Where am I? Take my helmet, child. Magneto.
Save him, Magneto.
But you'll die. My brains have already been scrambled. I've been sleeping with Xavier unprotected for years. We need to carry out our mission. Kill all telepaths.
Damn, dude.
Charles Xavier telepathically forced me to not include him in the previous video, but I have some protection now, you bald weirdo. What does it say about you that the most stable current relationship you have is with the man who wears an anti-telepathic helmet around you?
Yeah,
really, everyone in the X-Men should wear some protection. I mean, there's a reason why the X-Men are so damn freaky. Sleeping around with each other.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm always wearing protection around mutants, especially telepaths, dude. That's for sure.
Damn college kids, whether in their 40s or 200s if you're a mangy mutt. Xavier is absolutely 100% scrambling their brains. He is the mutant version of P. Diddy. He even has his own brand of cocoa and baby oil on deck. No other mutant team has freakouts like the X-Men, and that's because Magneto...
man, can they never live down Krakoa? Come on, dude. It was a one-time mistake, dude. Krakoa, man. Come on, dude. Come on, you know? That was like years ago, dude.
Brotherhood, legit. No dirty telepaths running amok. At least someone has morals, Charles. No, Charles Xavier is truly a depraved individual, telling Logan that he keeps him around because he needs a weapon, telepathically forcing his girlfriend to not break up with him, and even using...
I mean, we've all wanted that power before.
His telepathy to shut off Jean Grey's abilities as a child. That last one might actually be a good thing, though.
Yeah.
16-year-old Jean Grey was a demon, but it all makes you wonder why...
Yeah, the last one, get rid of Jean Grey. I mean, but see, that's more of his anti-telepath propaganda. He just wants to get rid of Jean Grey because he hates telepaths. And honestly, though, kind of on his side, especially if I was in the Marvel Universe. Oh my god. Like, yeah, Spider-Man comes running at you, or Charles Xavier comes running at you. Which one do you really want fighting you? I think Spider-Man. I'd rather have fighting me every day of the week, any day. Jean Grey is pretty fucked up, yeah, dude. But Jean Grey does some wildly horrible things. So, she scares me. Yeah, dude. Yeah, every day of the week, I'm picking Spider-Man. I'm picking the Human Torch to come after me. I'm picking Iron Man. Anybody, dude. Anybody besides for a telepath who's gonna come up and just mind blast me into oblivion.
Why the hell anyone would trust this man. Not only is he a deadbeat, check out his video on that, but every single relationship he has, whether it be with his surrogate son Cyclops or the mother of his real son Legion, Xavier has used his freaky ass abilities to make them do whatever he wants them to. I was honestly pretty harsh on Miss Martian in the last video, but she is a coughing baby compared to the chrome dome devil that is Charles Xavier. This man has scrambled Wolverine's brain so bad, you got a 200-plus-year-old man calling Xavier the closest thing he has to a father. I am telling you, he did more than put in those mental blocks.
And he is. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. He's way younger than him.
Xavier did him worse than Beast did, trust me. And the thing is, his crimes are far too long to fit in one video. I could talk about all the insane moments on Krakoa, or the way he treated Danger Room, or even how hypocritical he is on a day-to-day basis. I want to start out with his betrayal of the first and the greatest X-Man, Cyclops, then go into his disgusting and depraved dating practices with his ex-girlfriend, Amelia Vaught, and the poor mother of his mutant child, Gabrielle Haller. Charles Xavier is the definition of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This story will prove just that. In Deadly Genesis, we get introduced to Vulcan, the Chud brother of Scott and Alex Summers.
I did not know they had another brother. Okay, I thought it was just Havoc and Cyclops.
Reading X-Men Red, I had no clue why this guy sucked so bad, but after reading this comic, I kind of get his deal. In issue 6, we get to learn the very tragic and real story of how Scott was rescued from Krakoa, back when he was sucking the life force for evil. Nowadays, the Mutant Island and Cypher are cool as hell. However, in this story, we learn there was a secret team, founded by Moira McTaggart, then trained by Xavier, in far too short of a time to save Cyclops. After they save Scott, Vulcan reveals himself to be Gabriel Summers, Scott's younger brother.
Dog, does everybody need to be related to Cyclops? Come on, dude. Not everybody needs to be related to Cyclops. This is crazy.
Before we can see this memory play out of them meeting, Havoc, the other bum of a brother, interjects by saying it makes no sense for him to have a brother he just forgot. Xavier reveals that Vulcan, or Gabriel, was not born on Earth and that Scott's parents were kidnapped to be Shi'ar slaves. And their mother was murdered with Corsair, their father, assuming the unborn baby, Gabriel, was dead as well. Instead, the Shi'ar
Dog, sometimes Marvel just cannot help itself.
Vulcan to be older and stronger than he should have been. He really should be about 70 years younger. Xavier puts his hand on Vulcan's shoulder, telling him he doesn't need to add more tragedy to his life. Since in this story, Vulcan has been itching to kill everyone, especially Xavier, for all of his nasty telepathic crimes. Vulcan tells him he can't convince him without his mental powers, and he commands him to show the real history of what happened. Xavier tells Rachel to look into his mind to find Scott's real memories of Krakoa. They won't be in Scott's mind, and soon you'll see why. Scott takes the jet back to
Xavier totally mind wiped Scott about Krakoa. That's crazy. This man is kind of a psychopath. You can't just go around mind wiping people. You're not the Men in Black.
And tells him what happened. The young X-Men team,
and the Men in Black aren't my dad.
Too untrained, hastily sent to their suicide, were killed immediately. Scott is clearly guilty as his powers are not working, and he let his own brother die mere moments after meeting him. Xavier confirms the truth with Cerebro, and on the next page, Moira tears into him about how she can't trust Xavier with these children, about how Xavier led them to their deaths. She then says, "What about Scott? How is he gonna live with this?" Xavier says a chilling line that tells you a lot about his character. He says, "I've decided that's something he doesn't need to know." Moira's like, "You've decided?" Scared and terrified of what that actually means. In the present day, Cyclops resists the truth and recounts the story of what he thinks happened, but Xavier planted that memory there to ease his mind. In truth, Xavier wiped everything from Scott's mind. All it takes is one moment.
Yeah, that is really messed up, dude. I would not trust this bald fuck, dude.
A fleeting feeling,
no way.
A small decision.
Jean-Luc would, well, I was going to say Jean-Luc would never do this, but I think he has done this.
And a telepath like Charles Xavier is willing to cut out an entire brother from your life. This obviously creates a rift between them that forces Scott to kick Xavier out of his own mansion. But as time goes on, Scott just keeps seeing how Xavier is willing to abuse his telepathic powers, quote unquote, for the greater good, even if it causes a catastrophe. Like we see in Uncanny X-Men, where he convinces a mutant that he has no powers as a way of putting a band-aid over a nuke. Of course, when Xavier dies, that nuke goes off, and because of his half measure, a lot of people die. However, all these actions—
that kind of to me sounds like Xavier built himself in a kill switch with a real person. Like he was like, you know, if you kill me, a nuke's gonna go off.
Had good intentions, so the audience can understand why he did it, even if it was wrong. I want to talk about all of Xavier's more nefarious actions, and how he mistreats and downright mentally abuses the women he dates. This one is a short one, but it tells the tale of how Xavier sees the worst part.
You know, usually I think mental abuse is a little overblown, but I'm gonna say that Xavier's mental abuse is probably pretty fucking crazy.
Parts of himself in Magneto. And when you are a telepath, it honestly makes you more dangerous. In his dream, Magneto asks Charles Xavier to describe him in one word, and he says abuse. Magneto—
wait, you thought he was literally gay? No joke? No, he's straight as the sunrise. Why do these videos make me like the characters more? Well, we're supposed to be in universe, right? We're supposed to be looking at it as if we were in the Marvel universe. How would we think about them? Not as outside viewers.
Implies you've never abused your powers before, you never saw something you wanted, never reached out and took it. Xavier says no, not once. Bro, stop lying, and you will see how wrong he is. He can lie to everyone, but I have this helmet on, so I will tell you the truth. Dream Magneto tells the tale how Xavier could not save his mom, so in his life, he tries saving other people. Magneto even calls his relationship—
yeah, whatever, dude.
with the mother of his child, Gabrielle Haller, Oedipal, and that he lost interest after she stopped needing him. We'll come back to her because that relationship gets so much worse. However, this comic chronicles all of his relationships.
The truth is, Men need to be needed. That's the simple truth. That's like our one biggest need in the world is for somebody to need us, right?
Relationships, and we stumble upon one most of you probably have not heard about, Amelia Vaught, who is the woman who nursed him back to health.
We all need to
first
be
became
needed. That's probably
paralyzed.
true.
Amelia
I
falls
mean, I can't speak as a woman, being a book, I shouldn't really even be speaking as a man, but I'm a male book, so it's okay. I got a bookmark. It's just under my hair. It's what keeps most of us sane, I think.
in love with him,
true.
and after she finds his research regarding Cerebro, she thinks he tricked her into a relationship. No, not yet, Amelia. This time around, Xavier was mildly innocent. He reveals to her that he's actually a mutant as well, and they embrace. Now fast forward, Amelia and Charles, even though they're both mutants trying to make it in the USA, it's not working out because Charles has these lofty goals of creating the X-Men,
Hell yeah,
and she
Charles.
does not agree with the formation of that team. Not for any good reason, to be honest. Amelia is kind of a coward. She thinks their people should lay low and be safe. As Xavier and her argue, he follows her out the door in
Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here, Yoko.
his wheelchair.
Yoko
He says,
Ono.
please do not make me choose between us and our goal. She says, it's your goal. And before she can leave, Xavier
Wow, dude. Yeah, I mean, she was never even a good girl to be around anyways, then if your goal does not, if your life goal does not mesh with the life goal of the person you're with, then you're with the wrong person, Charles. Let her go. Don't do this to her.
tries scrambling her noggin like he always does, like every telepath will always do. He shouts,
That's
I
crazy.
will not let you leave me. Terrifying. Xavier wasn't quite the monster he is today though, so he let go of her mind pretty quickly. However, Amelia knew what he did and smacked the shit out of him. My question is, what would have happened
Yeah,
here
he had that smack coming for sure.
if he did not let go? This is why you cannot date a telepath. You make one wrong move and they will lobotomize you.
Yes, dude, it makes me think of the Adventure Time episode where Marceline's boyfriend comes back and he literally tricks Finn and Jake to steal her memory so that he'll get back together with her because she doesn't remember why they broke up. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. So I immediately agree with him here. A telepath? Oh, hell no.
Now, in his dream, Xavier self-flagellates about how this goes against everything he believes in, but let's be real, man, this is not the first nor will be the last time he has abused his telepathic abilities.
Dude built an entire room and headset so that he can amplify his telekinetic abilities 100-fold. This dude doesn't care about restraint. He could see everybody's thoughts in the whole world, basically, because of this.
Now, I covered most of the storyline in my Legion video, which I should do a part 2 on. However, I want to look at this from the perspective of Gabrielle Haller, a woman who honestly went through something similar like Nikki did in Obsession. If you believe in being overly dramatic, I'm honestly understating how twisted this entire thing is. You see, Magneto and Xavier met each other in Israel. It's where Claremont drew a lot of his politics from when writing the two characters, as he grew up there as a child.
No comment, no comment.
In this story, Xavier is initially called there.
Counterpoint, data telepath and cat girls don't need to be real. They can put them into your brain basically as good as real. No, dude, you just date a shapeshifter. See, that's why I always said, if I could pick any woman from the entire history of Marvel that I would date, it would be Mystique. It would be Mystique, because Mystique is whatever girl she wants to be or you want her to be, however the relationship is, every night. Different chick. And she's still your girl, she's still the same lady, so it doesn't even matter, Can't argue with that, exactly, dude. And then you don't have to worry about her mind wiping you if you get in an argument about who does the dishes. Next thing you know, you're in the kitchen doing the dishes, you don't even remember agreeing to doing it.
To help Gabrielle out of a catatonic state from the referral of Moira McTaggart. Now, Danielle Shamron thinks Xavier.
When you were a kid, you had a crush on Jubilee. I mean, dude, X-Men, the animated series, though, was a great show. X-Men, the animated series, was what got me into X-Men. So I totally feel that. I mean, for me, it was, well, I didn't really have a X-Men crush, actually. I was just there to watch stuff explode, to be fair.
Is doing the work of a psychiatrist, but he's actually using his telepathy to wake her up. What's important to note is that her mental state seems to be stuck in the past, when she was a child. Now, it's not explicitly said, but she was most likely put into the catatonic state when
Now it'd be kind of weird for you to be chasing a teenager. Oh, man. True and real.
she was still a kid, and while her body has aged, her mind has not. Now the comic does say she bridged the gap between a child and an adult with ease, however I do not buy any of that. More telepathic propaganda. And if that's not true, it makes what happens later even worse. Now to fast forward a bit, Xavier, Magnus, and Gabby all hang out. Xavier and Gabby get together. Xavier says,
Chris Hansen, why don't you have a seat?
"Oh,
What?
Gabby, you
Why'd you bring these fireworks?"
believe you're in love with me, but you're not," which will be important later. Xavier and Magnus go through this plot in which they reveal to each other they're actually mutants, and Xavier is separated from Gabby after already getting with her. Now Xavier becomes a deadbeat and leaves Gabby a single mother, which has her move from one weird relationship dynamic to another.
Yeah, the things they brought is what's killed me every time, too. They're like, oh, I brought this pizza because I heard she was going to be alone, and I just wanted to make sure she was okay. And it's like, dog, we know what's going on here. We read the messages, and the cops are waiting outside, buddy.
Instead of getting with the psychiatrist, she gets with the lead psychiatrist, Daniel Shamron, after Xavier, which has to violate all kinds of laws, man. Disgusting work. However, it only gets even more disgusting. You see, in the age of Krakoa, all the X-Men books had these data sheets that sometimes had useless info on them and sometimes had very important information. One of these overlooked pages is a diary journal from Moira McTaggart, who notes how they could sire a reality warping mutant, and that Moira has picked out potential matches.
Yeah.
Wonder who they could be talking about.
Yeah.
Reality warping mutant that Xavier could sire. Oh, you mean Legion. So Xavier and Moira hand-selected a mentally unstable woman who is stuck in a catatonic state of a child to be used as a broodmare to create a reality warping son.
That's fucking disgustingly sick, dude. The guy who literally had zip ties, a rope, and a gun in his car. That just sounds like Dennis from Always Sunny.
But the minute he was born and had some mental issues...
But I'd like to bind. I like to be bound. Come on. I need my tools, okay? Don't worry about it.
Xavier tried to pretend he did not exist, which no one believes. You have Cerebro Man. You definitely knew he existed years before. However, that isn't even the worst part, because this video is about why I think every telepath should die. And more importantly, why Charles Xavier should be the first one on the chopping block.
Well,
now my argument
Cyclops helped you out there, buddy.
Here is already pretty strong. However, this simply gets worse. In Excalibur 2004, issue 14, written by Claremont himself, we get to see Xavier's Black Bug Room, a visualization of someone's unconscious mind. This time it is Charles Xavier's. He sees Gabrielle Haller here. After a quick kiss, he says that he is now trapped here with his greatest shame. Now you're thinking he finally recognizes all the weird dynamics between a mental patient getting with their doctor, or maybe he realizes the huge mental age gap between Gabby and himself. But no, Charles Xavier reveals something far more nefarious. He tells her that he actually manipulated her emotions and used his telepathic powers to make her care for him. Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Fuck?
So you take a poor
dog, he mind roofied a mental patient into loving him. This what I always say. Love potions in fantasy are actually the most fucked up type of fantasy item in the entire world. That's just an actual roofie that changes somebody's mind into loving you forever. That's fucking crazy. That's twisted. That's sick. I'll agree now. Xavier is fucked. Yeah, dude. Xavier is fucked.
Survived the Holocaust. Bring her out of a catatonic state in which she is crying for her mom and dad like a scared child. You scrambled her already fractured mind to force her to be in love with you. Weeks later, you impregnate her with the express purpose to create a reality warping mutant, and then you abandon her from one power imbalanced relationship to another with Daniel Shamron, leaving them to raise a mentally ill mutant with world-ending capabilities. Xavier, you are
no way, he ended up mentally ill. Who could fucking see that coming?
Evil, truly evil, man. There are no jokes I can make, nothing I can say to make this funny. This is sinister stuff, man. I talk about how Wolverine is able to rationalize pretty evil actions, but Xavier does it even faster and far more elegantly. He tells the stream version of Gabrielle that he took advantage of her, and she says if she wanted to, she'd fight him off, which is some victim-blaming trash I'd only expect.
What the fuck, dude? That's crazy.
From Deathstroke, not the leader of the X-Men's
That's
unconscious mind.
crazy.
At the end of Dream Gabby trying to relieve his pain,
Oh
he
my
says, "Does atonement
God.
count when it's in your dreams?" No, it does not.
That's like fucking. That's like, well, you know, if I didn't want it, I wouldn't have been wearing the dress. So you know.
You are
It's
still
fucking
evil,
crazy,
man.
dude.
And mind you, this video is far too short. I could have made this an hour long just covering Krakoa, but I want to talk about that more in my next video and discuss how badly the X-Men treated Deadpool, but somehow let Apocalypse on the island. Let me know if you guys want more X-Men videos. I've been enjoying reading these comics and learning new ways to slander telepaths. Like, comment, and subscribe. Big shout out to the Watchtower employees.
Heck yeah. That was an amazing video. Another top tier video by Schmo, dude. Totally on his side. Telepaths have to go, dude. Today. Oh my God.